I want to give you a real short introduction to a really cool program that we can use for gathering student reflection, whether it be on things they're doing in class or whether it be things that have been covered in class. Just a way that we're able to communicate with our students and see how they're doing and see if they're keeping up with things. The program we're going to be using is called Let's Recap. So the first thing we need to do is get to the Let's Recap page. The website's simple. It's letsrecap.com. Once you get there, first thing you'll need to do, obviously, sign up. The accounts are free. Everything is free that we'll need to be using. So you'll click sign up. It's going to ask for a few things. You'll tell it that you're a teacher. Let me log out so you'll be able to see all of what's happening. You'll click sign up and you'll tell it you're a teacher. Click on the teacher button. And it's going to ask for your name, email address, and password. Once you've done those things, you'll be able to sign in. And you'll have a page that will look similar to this. The first time you log in, you'll have this green demo class. You won't have this purple science department class yet until you create your first class. Now to create your first class, we'll click right here on add class. You'll name it. You'll decide how students are going to log in, whether they use an email account or whether they use a class pin. And then you'll give it the names of some students and you'll tell it to add class. This is a demo class that I've created with some extra students, so I'll give you an idea of what it looks like. I simply named 5 demo students, student 1 through student 15. And to log into this class, I'm going to have my students use a class pin. So when I'm ready to share that class pin with them, I can click this button right here, the Get Class Pin. But what this program allows us to do is provide a prompt to our students and have them record either an audio or a video reflection on that prompt. So here's how we'll add our first prompt. We'll make sure that we're in our science department class. We'll click add recap. We'll give it a name. I want you guys to reflect a little bit on using recap. So we'll call this the recap reflection. And the first prompt or first question I want to give to you is is reflection, and I'm going to make sure I can type these things correctly. Is reflection an important piece of personalized learning? And we'll let that be our prompt for this first recap. If I want to add more questions, I can do that here. If that's all I want to ask, then I'll click next. I can assign it to the whole class or individual students. I can add it to multiple classes if I have multiple classes created. I can tell the students they have a 15-second, a 30-second, a 60-second, or 2-minute time period, and I can give it a due date. You can leave this poll on. This will simply ask them if they completely understand the material we're looking at or if they don't get it at all, or you can turn that off if you just simply want their video reflections. And then we tell it to send, and now it has created the first recap. For my students, if I want my students to go in, they can either download the app on a smartphone or they can go back to Let's Recap and they can log in as a student, and we're going to give them that class pin. So here's the class pin for this particular class. We'll copy that and paste it into the class pin bar. Tell it to sign in, and they'll decide, they'll find their student name. I'm going to pretend I'm student 1 for the moment, and I'm going to decide I want to respond now. Here's my prompt: is reflection an important piece of personalized learning? I'll tell it to respond, and now you'll see it's going to access my webcam and you'll see me talking to yes. I'll click on the record button and I will say yes, I think personalized learning is certainly achieved by lots of different things, including a reflection piece. When I'm done recording, I'll hit the stop button. It's going to ask a few more things. Now this is, of course, is what your students are going to see. If they like their answer, they'll click next. I got it. Click next, and they'll click done. Last thing I'll show you is what that's going to look like on your side. So we can get rid of this student window. We're going to make sure that we're clicking on our correct class. Remember, we demoed this in our science department class. It logged me out because I had logged in as a student. So this is back in our student, our science department class. Still has me logged in as a student. I apologize. Let me get to my teacher login. I'll click on Science Department. It'll tell me that I've got one of my 15 students have completed this assignment, and there's my short video talking about my reflection on using recap in class.